everyone, this is Shannon Smith from Smart Business Solutions. For those of you who maybe have already seen that video I did last night, I'm just doing an updated version now, running through what I had done last night and redoing it. There's been a bit more guidance out there on what the comparison period is. So if you have listened to this before, please do listen again because I have updated what that is. So for those of you who haven't met me before, my name's Shannon Smith, founder and managing director of Smart Business Solutions. So I want to go through today about what we've got with the the Small Business COVID Hardship Fund. Now, this was just announced late Thursday night. So the fund is actually to assist small to medium-sized businesses who have been severely impacted on COVID, as many of us have during the periods. Now, they've got 27th of May. That's from one of our lockdowns. I say one because obviously we're up to number, 6 now? It's getting more. And so you've experienced a 70% reduction in turnover as a result of COVID-19 restrictions, and that you're also ineligible for the other COVID business grants. Now, I know that there were a lot of you that did not get the grants, you could nearly say this year, as a result of when we've had the different lockdowns. You haven't been eligible. It's been quite restricted in the codes, the industry codes that people have been receiving it. So let's just go through a bit briefly the standard eligibility criteria. Standard 1, yes, you've got to be in Victoria. It's got to be as a consequence of COVID-19, can't be something else. Payroll under 10 million, and you must be registered for GST. You must have an ABN, and you must be registered with federal, state governments, etc. And if you are employing people, you must have work cover as well. And then also that you've got the staff, you've actually assisted them on getting any paid leave, and if they can work from home, they are, and you're supporting casual workers where possible. Now, the other eligibility, and this is most important because as accountants, we don't get access to all of your grants because some of them you've maybe applied yourself, great, and then you've got the second ones, and I've heard from some clients they've just had money put into their bank account. And in other instances, there were many of you who didn't get these particular grants because you weren't falling under these requirements. The business cost assistant, you may have had not that industry code. So make sure that you if you were eligible for one of these, you're not going to be eligible for this particular one. So if you didn't get one of these particular grants, jump in and hopefully you're actually eligible now for these. So how do you apply? There's actually 3 ways to apply. Now, you apply on the website, but there's 3 different ways. One is you need to get, it is the accountant's busiest time of the year. So to actually say that accountants now have to prepare this letter in, I guess you could nearly say all of our spare time is going to be one of those challenges because obviously this is a priority and it is one of our busiest times of the year. So you do need to get an accountant's letter. They have given a standard format of that accountant's letter. I'll show you that in a second. But as tax agents, we actually need to look at the source document. We're required to do that under our accounting bodies to do that, to make sure, and then we can issue that letter and you need to upload that. So we can actually do the whole process for you if you want, or you can apply directly as a business owner and have us provide that letter to you. Or if you don't have access to an accountant or want to go through that process, you can actually apply directly. It will just delay the process and they will ask you for further verification. So what's the accountant letter? This is what we're signing on our letterhead. So we do, under our accounting body's requirements, have to do some additional work and get source documents so that if you're checked and you come back and say, hey, but you did the letter, we actually have the source documents to support that as well. Now, we want to make this as cost effective for you as well. And I'll go through why the impact periods and benchmarking periods could be really straightforward or could be quite time consuming. Few things I want to point out, obviously, and I'll go through in a second about the reduction of turnover and how we do all of that. But note down the bottom here, and this will be in your engagement letter with us so that when you're signing our engagement letter, you are confirming that you have informed us of the correct financial information. It is a reduction under normal business practices and has not been manipulated for the purposes of receiving a grant. And remember, Xero does not lie. So please don't go in there and start changing the dates of invoices. Xero does not lie. At the bottom of your Xero, it's going to tell what date you changed it and how you did it. So people, these things will get caught. So please don't do that. and it needs to be a 70% reduction. So what do we mean by reduction in turnover? And this is the bit that I'm kind of re-recording the whole thing, but the reason I'm doing that is to do with the benchmark period. So the impacted period is between 27th of May and 10th of September. So you can choose any minimum 2-week period, must be consecutive, that you were impacted by COVID-19, and that's your impacted period. So you can choose whichever one. If you're shut, well, it's pretty easy. You choose the one that's got no revenue. You were shut. Now, then you've got the benchmark period is, now if you're a business that's been actively trading in 2019, let's assume most of you are, you can choose, and this is the bit I'm going to flick to the next slide and flick back, because this is the bit that I had to get further information to really clarify, because you know how they are with a lot of these things. They don't like to give it to you and spell it out too well. So the benchmark period is where you're actually choosing a minimum consecutive 2-week trading period as a comparison point within that benchmark period. Now, one would assume normally, a bit like JobKeeper, if we choose this particular period, say this particular 2-week period in 2021, one would assume we'd have to choose the same dates in 2019. That's not correct. That's not correct. There's a lot more flexibility here. So what it means is the impact period, what are your 2 worst weeks? Literally, what are your 2 worst weeks between the 27th of May and 10th of September of this financial year? And you can compare that to what are your 2 best weeks, your 2 best weeks between 27th of May 2019 and 10th of September 2019. If you weren't actively trading in 2019, the dates that you're comparing to are 1st of Feb to 28th of July. So here's an example as to how we're calculating that reduction. But again, I do want to drill down a bit further on this benchmark period, because I do think that this is going to give, I guess you could say, some potential opportunities to make sure that you are getting eligible to this grant. It is disappointing to see that it's 70%, because actually in New South Wales they had 30%, 50%, and 70%. Based on the different levels that people were out of pocket. So it's unfortunate 70%, but we do have a bit of flexibility for when we're actually having a look at that point. Okay, so impact period. So again, impact period is the 2-week period during the starting period, as we said, 27th of May to 10th of September. So you can choose your worst 2 periods, so your worst trading weeks between that time. And then you've got your comparison point in the benchmark period being the period between 27th of May 2019 and 10th of September 2019. And you can choose your best in that point. Okay, and if there's a 70% reduction, then you can actually apply that. So what I'm actually just highlighting again here, and I probably repeated a few times, but I think this is something that's really not clear on the website, and I want to make sure that we all get it right. It's not about comparing the same period in 2021 with 2019. If it is 70% down and it's the same period, great, your life's very easy. You've got those numbers and you're all good. But if it's not, you really do have flexibility. So comparison points, if you're actively trading, should be generally similar time of the year, unless it's exceptional reasons as to why a different time is chosen. Could be slight adjustments in trading days and acceptable. Now, what I've actually pulled down here at the bottom, this is actually, and so when we read that first part, we're like, well, that makes sense, maybe a day or two different. But when you actually read, and this snip part that I've added at the bottom of this slide is from their frequently asked questions. And when you actually read the definition under there, it says businesses should compare their best 2-week trading period between 27th of May and 10th of September 2019, your best 2-week trading period, with their worst consecutive 2-week trading period between 27th of May and 10th of September 2021. So there you have it on their website in black and white. When you read the actual guidance, we've got that, and here they have a frequently asked question, and you can even keep my snips should they remove that from the website. But that makes it really clear. Go out and pick your best in 2019, compare it to your worst in 2020, and if it does not match, If it's greater than 70%, you're all good. Now, one thing, and Erin has recorded a video, so you'll see that as well. And I'm just going to quickly pull this across and show you on the Xero here, this calculator, and refer you to Erin has updated a YouTube video as to how to do this calculator so that you can actually do that yourself in there. You might even sit while you're watching TV and try and play with it and work until you find that best period and that worst period. So how do you apply once you've established that? Go on. Here's the link to go on. This is what the box is going to look like. And you can apply that way. So how can we help you? Unfortunately, Vic government have thrown the accountants back in there to help again on it, which obviously we're happy to help you. But now the DIY, if you don't want to pay anything, want it for free, use these notes and go through and just do the option 3. It'll just take a few more days to get that, and you'll probably have to give some information to them. The accountant's letter, we're absolutely more than happy to do the accountant's letter. It's not just signing the letter. So we've had that question, well, don't you just have to print it up and sign it? No, we don't. We have to prepare source documents. This is part of our compliance. What I have found out today, and maybe I should have changed the price here, I've actually found out from our accounting groups, our accounting Facebook groups, that a lot of people are charging around $1,000 to do this for a $10,000 grant. What I'm looking at is, if you can, you know your business better than absolutely anyone, and if you can tell us, oh, look, these 2 weeks I was shut, I had no income, and compare it to 2019, and if you can tell us what periods to use so that we can very quickly go into your Xero data, validate those numbers, we can do your accountant's letter for $250. We'll keep it down to the minimum. If we need to go through and have a look for your best period and worst period and try and find those dates, because we're kind of finding a needle in a haystack. We're looking for 2 weeks in amongst a few months. If we need to do that, just understand that will take additional time. And so there will be additional costs for that. But we can, so far this morning, because I'm recording this on Friday night, so far this morning, all the clients this morning have actually found those dates for us. They've had a look and said, look, I know these 2 weeks were just absolutely shocking. You can compare it to these ones in 2019, and we've been able to do it and really been able to provide that service for $250. So we're trying to help you out in making sure that we can do this cost effectively. But do remember, we're also running a business. I do also have my employees who do expect to get paid as well. So we're trying to do the best that we can at the moment. We have a lot of work going on at the moment in trying to get clients' financials done, because a lot of clients are needing finance at the moment as well. As you might want to kind of like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This video will also be up there. But also we're always updating with some other great things that will really help you in running your business. So it's worth like and subscribe, and you'll get our latest updates. Our leadership team, for those that haven't met, obviously myself. We've also got Paul Cunningham and Daniel McCulloch. So feel free to reach out to any of ours and reach out to the team at Smart Business Solutions, and we'll get going and help you with this grant as well. So hope you keep well, and we'll speak to you all soon. Thank you.